which is no problem, but this is, again, cut it, do it in the middle, grab one of those babies, and then just wipe the top of that for good measure, okay? Perfect. Now, if you want, you can place this back in here, and that'll stay clean, and we want to take the blue cap off of there, and so just, yep, just secure that, it should twist. Now, that's perfectly sterile too, so if it gets touched inadvertently by your thumb, you just have to wipe it real good.
Okay.
So grab this, and then you're going to just attach that in that same twisting, you know, you push it in and twist it on. It's no needles or anything, it's just what they call a lure. Better hold this though so it doesn't rotate on you. Just twist it right on. You feel how the grooves go in? That's perfect. Yeah. That's perfect. Now see, what you were going to do is, ooh, that's on tight, nice. You were going to go like this and this start turning, but I'm afraid this whole thing, see, would turn.
Right.
So that's why I said hold that and let this twist on. And you see the threads are right there, right?
Right.
Okay, so now this is so easy. All you do is flip this upside down,
Okay.
and I'll show you just because you can do the other three. Flip it upside down and start pulling back, and you'll see the bubbles are coming in because the air is coming through this vent. And look, the medicine's coming right in without any needles or any problem. And it's really easy to pull back, whereas if it's real thick through a needle, it's harder.
Right.
So go ahead and do that.
Okay.
Do you do it fast or slow?
It really doesn't matter.
No.
Yeah, if you're strong, I guess you can go faster. It's not going to harm the little molecules or anything, but, you know, usually that steadiness is perfect, you know. They used to have it so hard to pull back that you really needed some strength. This poor man was pulling so hard that he pulled the plunger all the way out, and all the stuff went all over the place. And I told you how sticky and thick it is, right? So,
Right.
So look how you're really there. Now, with this particular plunger, I see that this is a little bit high, and there's just a little bit left in there. So probably I would just go like that and then pull the last bit out. But I don't know if you really have to, because watch, well, wait a minute. We're getting too close to the bottom. Let's push this air back in, honey, to give yourself some more room, okay? Push that air back in. There you go, because you don't want it too close to the bottom. And then pull back. Oh, it looks like it automatically pulled back in. Once you put the air in, it pushed it in for you. You know what I mean? Because when you push the air in, it creates pressure in there, and then it wants to get the fluid out. So look, you got it all out. Isn't that great?
So
it's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, so now the thing we want to do is disconnect this by screwing that off. And you want to use this because if you take this off, you're still going to have this on, and we really don't want that on anymore.
This whole thing
Yeah, that whole thing comes off. So watch your finger. You're going to be touching the sterile part. There you go. Perfect. Okay. We're going to keep this because we want to get the information off of the label. Oh, you did take it off.
Yep.
I was going to say, it's missing.
Yep, I put them all right here.
You were too slick, girl.
All right.
Okay, so that's perfect. Now, what I would probably have you do at this point is give this a little tap, even though it doesn't look like there's many bubbles at the bottom. And by the way, bubbles are really no problem, but you know, I'm an old school gal. I like to get all the bubbles out, you know?
Right.
So then what you're going to do is, if there were bubbles down here, you have to give it a tap enough that they would flick up, you know? But it looks good. And I think there's a tiny one right there, but that's nothing.
Right.
So then you're going to very carefully push out the air so that we don't have a lot of extra air that's at the top here. And probably I think the most controlled way, like if you went like this, it would do it. See what I mean? But if you push down too hard, you could lose some, right? So what I'd like to see you do is do one of these controlled maneuvers. Like you move your finger up and look, it gets stuck here. It's like not going to go too far at once. So this is a good little protective barrier for you. So if you go up like that little by little, you see, you'll be good. So why don't you do that for practice?
Okay. Just the top, right?
Yep. And if you got to hold it straight, honey, because the gravity has to be working for you to make it all the way up to the top. That's beautiful. Now when it bubbles like that, those few bubbles are of no consequence. If you keep going all the way till there's liquid, it's just going to drip down the side. And you can do that. It's just that you might want to wipe it because then it's just going to be really a sticky syringe.
Okay.
So you might want to just wipe the drips that come out.
Sorry.
That's okay.
All right.
There
So
you
the point
go.
is to get the bubbles out.
Most of the air. Remember, the air was a big gap. The bubbles are really okay. But, you know, it's up to you. But again, you just have a little more of a mess.
Okay, I think I got the liquid there.
That's perfect. Excellent. All right. So now, this is all ready to go. You can set this down briefly. I don't think it's going to drip on you, but you could kind of put it like that so it's angling up a little bit. And open this next piece. Now, the next piece that you need is this piece. And there's a reason why you're going to remember that that's the next one to go. Part of the reason is this has the needles, so that's the part that goes from you out.
Okay.
So this is the in-between piece, and actually there's, I think, one easy way to open this. It's hard to see.
Oh,
See that little
okay.
rip? There you go.
Perforation.
Try that. Yeah.
Okay.
And you can rip it open. Otherwise, we didn't even find that at first. It was like, oh my gosh, this is hard to open. It doesn't even open that great with that thing.
Mm.
I think it's only on the one side.
Whereas they don't.
So you might just have to work with the
they don't
hole and
split open.
yeah, just stick your finger inside almost,
Yeah.
you know, honey, and get it to come out. In fact, it's capped on both sides as well, so you don't have to worry about getting anything dirty.
Okay.
So they gotta
Alright.
fix that because that's not very convenient at all, is it? Perfect. There you go. So the other good thing about the flow regulator, it'll remind you, is that it has this disc on it, and the disc itself is important because it's going to help you fit the syringe right into the pump. So that's an easy way to remember that the disc is the part that goes onto the pump. You won't be able to
Okay.
fit this onto the pump anyway, or onto the syringe, I'm sorry,
Okay.
because it's a male-female thing, and if you can see, that's the male end, and then this is the female end.
Yeah, okay.
So, if you go ahead, I'm just going to pretend this is that I'm not here, and I'll have you uncap that
Okay.
by screwing it off, and if you can keep the underneath part clean, that's the most ideal, and then just grab your syringe, and you'll see that they fit together really well. Grab the barrel so you have more control. There you go. Yep. And now all you do is twist that on. Yep, push and twist that on. Beautiful. Don't over tighten it though, because don't forget, we're going to have to take this syringe off and put the other one on.
Put the other
And
one
seeing as this stuff is sticky, it's almost like it'll glue on if you get it too tight, you know? But we want it
Okay.
snug, but not too bad.
Yeah.
Yep,
All right.
beautiful.
Okay.
Okay, see, beautiful. You're doing an excellent job. And this is all capped, so you're good now, you know. And even if like the phone rang, you need to go to the bathroom, you're good, you know. Everything's contained, everything's capped and sterile, you're good, you know.
Okay.
But as long as you're good to go forward, then we're ready for the next step, okay? Or
Okay.
are you feel good?
Yep.
Okay.
As ready as I'll ever be.
Are we having fun yet? I think this is fun. What is up with you guys? Gee, maybe it's because it's not my stomach,
Well,
you
it's
know,
a
and
little
it's
bit
not
funner
mine.
than going to work, I guess. But
What's that?
I said it is a little bit funner than going back to work.
No, it's
No,
not.
she'd rather go to work.
rather
That's
go to
why.
work.
Yeah, she
No,
knows
I'm
what
just
to
teasing.
expect at work. It's not an unknown thing, right? Okay. So the next thing is the tubing that leads to you. So we got the syringe that's going to end up going in the pump later.
Okay.
We got the flow regulator with the disc that's going to help it click into the pump right at the end of the syringe. Now this is the piece that we need that's going to connect to you with the little needles at the end. I hate to mention the little needles,
No,
but
it's
they
okay.
are there.
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and open what you already opened.
Okay. Well, already open.
That's good. You can peel it all the way back if you want, honey, just so you. There we go.
Doug, what time you gotta leave?
10:10.
What time?
10:10.
Okay.
My morning.
Oh, 10:10. I thought you said 10 till. 10 till. I'm like, it's 10 till right now. All right, beautiful. Okay. Now again, let me just show you one quick thing. That's nothing important really, but it shows you have 4 needles, priming volume. You know, it just gives you information about this whole step. The other thing, it tells you how small the gauge is. 27 gauge of needles, 9 millimeters is the length of it, and the gauge is the bigness around. Do you know what I mean? So
Okay.
they're nice and tiny. The larger the number, the tinier it is. So when they were giving you your IVIG, it was 24 gauges. Those are pretty small, but 27 is smaller even yet. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And when you give blood, they use 16 gauge needles. They're huge. They're like a
Right.
garden hose or something, you know. I mean, I give blood regularly. I just gave blood, and I'm like, I do needles all day. I don't even want to see that thing go in my arm. It's so
Oh.
big, you know. Okay, so
All
these
right.
are tiny, tiny. And the next thing you're going to do is just take these paper things off, and they just kind of rip off. I'll show you. Just rip them off and throw them out. But they keep them from getting tangled, so that'll help you.
All right.
Okay, so you should have 4 of those, because this is a 4 needle set.
Take that Benadryl and get all sleepy again.
Did you take 50?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess what you could do is get this all ready. Or take your Benadryl and then get it ready right away before it's soaking in. While
Right.
it's soaking in. you know.
Right.
So, and you'd be surprised how fast you're going to be at getting this ready once you get it down.
Once
It's
I get
like,
it down, yeah.
oh my gosh, this will be fast, you know. But, and most people do it, they're watching the news, there's something relaxing, you know.
Right.
Okay, perfect.
Alright.
Toss those in. Now we've got these transparent little jobby doos. They're transparent membrane dressings, they call them.
Okay.
Oh, they even got an extra one in here for you.
Yeah, these ones came part
Yeah,
of the-
those came and they're okay, but these are nice. These are a little nicer.
Yeah, that's.
But I would
corn
keep these.
scent.
Yes, exactly. But I would keep these. I was going to say, why were they in the package? It's because you put them in there.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm
yeah.
like, they never come in the package.
Yeah,
You're
I put
mixing
them
me
in
up.
there.
I'm like, how did that happen?
Sorry. Yeah,
You're-
just so I wouldn't lose them, I
You're
put them in the
right. I
package.
love it. Now these are good though. I'd keep these in a little baggie in your thing,
In a
just
thing.
as extras. If you needed to reinforce one was coming up, or maybe for some reason they forgot to send these. Usually they send you enough to have a whole nother infusion. I see here they send you only one extra, because 4 is what you're going to
Right.
need every day. So collect your extras, and that way if for some reason somebody messes up and only sends you 2 instead of 4, you always have a few extra. And you can use these. They're fine. They just are not quite, they're maybe just a little smaller, and I think these are a little nicer on your
These look
skin.
more sturdy too.
Yeah, a little sturdier, and I think they have a type of adhesive that is a little more acceptable, like
Nicer
yeah,
to
a little better tolerated for your skin. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll put these in here, in the bottom, and then you'll have them handy if you need them. And now we got this thing all good, so we're gonna open this up and kind of untangle, and let it come on down. Okay, and see, the reason it's long is to give you some room so that you have, between the pump and you've got some slack. You know what I
Right.
mean? You don't have to be so tight. Okay, and you can see that this is probably going to be a female end, and you can see that's going to be the male end that goes together, right?
Okay.
But they're capped. So they're clean under there.
Okay.
So that would be the next step, is to connect these two.
Okay.
Okay, so if you can uncap it and then just keep it handy in your hand, like maybe between your fingers even, like sometimes, yeah, exactly, you got it. You have got it exactly. I was going to demonstrate, but I don't need to. Yeah, but just don't touch that other one though, see, honey? So in a way, that's perfect. I was going to do something like this. Put this one way over here, and then take this one off like that. And that way, you're really not so close where you might hit it. I mean, if you do, you just got to clean it again.
Right.
It's no big deal.
Okay.
But it's nice to have it sterile. So you go ahead and connect those two.
Okay.
Easy as pie, right?
Yeah,
I
seems like
know.
it so far.
Yeah. It's very doable.
Twist on or?
Yep, it should. It should be easy though, so make sure that you've got the threads lined up. If it's not, you might want to undo it and double check that it's really threading right. Yeah, let me see, honey. I don't want you to contaminate it as you get it off. Yeah, it might be all right actually. There. It's just when you do it exactly right in, it shouldn't be that hard. It should go on kind of nicely, you know what I mean, without too much force. So you try that.
Okay.
Line it up a little more carefully and see if that works.
Yeah.
Feels better?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
This one doesn't matter if it's so tight, because we're not going to be taking this off through the whole thing until the end, and then you're throwing it out.
Okay.
It's here that you don't want it so tight, because we have to change your syringe over, you know what I mean?
Right. Right. Okay.
All right, so perfect. Now we've got this all ready, and really we're almost ready to put the little needles in. There's one more step that we do before we put the needles in, and that is we want to replace all the air that's in here with the medicine, and it's called priming the tube or purging the air out or whatever. Okay. Now they even say that you don't even have to do this step, because it's such a small amount of air that's in this tiny tubing that it really wouldn't even matter. But I just think that why bother having air go in there and making you even a little bit more of a swelling, you know?
Right.
The air would just be absorbed into your body, and it is a very small amount. But I like to do it. I think it's probably the best choice, as long as you're comfortable with it. The other thing they like you to do, if you can, is to prime it all the way up near the needles, but not all the way to the needles. Because if you go all the way through the needles where it's dripping out, well, it irritates a little bit when it goes in.
Right.
And then you get a little more redness right at that insertion site. So there's no real need for that, you know?
Okay.
So what's good is that we do have a little extra light in here, because you have very young eyes, which probably won't matter. But since it's clear liquid, it's kind of hard sometimes to see where it is. And you want to stop in through this area here, you know, right near the needle, you know, like right in through here.
Right.
So when it gets to the end, we want to stop priming. So we'll be watching where it is, okay?
Okay.
And the easiest thing is to press down on the table and let it go through. So this is another thing, by the way, that gets rid of the air, because you're going